Hi, I'm Vivek Sharma and I will take you through understanding operational risk in this video. The core idea behind creating this video is to help business organizations understand key aspects of operational risk. It is important to note that there have been many incidents of operational risks in recent times which have caused huge loss to the business organizations, both financially and also in terms of reputation. And that's precisely the reason understanding operational risk has become very important these days. Operational risk is something which has always been in the shadow of credit and market risk, especially for financial services companies. But as I said earlier, because of many incidents of operational risk, today businesses have started focusing more on operational risk and how they can be managed. Additionally, managing operational risk is also very challenging because operational risks are not always quantifiable and they are difficult to understand as well because some of them are linked to human integrity and the way people think. So, uh, it's important that various aspects of operational risks are accounted for by a business organization and a robust process is built to mitigate operational risk. So with this in the background, let me move quickly to some examples that I would like to share with you before we understand some key aspects of operational risk. So here are 5 examples in this slide. As you can see, the first example talks about a trader who is working for a trading desk and he has entered buy order as a sell order, and this has caused loss to the business organization. But the focus is not about loss. The focus is about a wrong transaction processing. This kind of incidents may happen within a business organization, especially when a trader is working on trading desk and he's continuously entering transactions on behalf of client or for the business organization itself. The second example is an example of an employee who is part of the sales team. He's unable to meet the target, and since he cannot achieve the target, what he does is that he signs some of the deal on behalf of the clients who were supposed to actually sign it. Of course, he got caught later on, but for some days, uh, he could show a false deal as the real deal. This is the second example. The third example is that a business organization does not have a proper IT security in place, and because of which the broader guidelines with respect to IT security are not defined, and that uh, keeps organization, or that has kind of created an uncertainty within organization in terms of who has the authorization to do what. And linked to that is another aspect which is about password sharing. This continues to be a common example of an operational risk across organizations. In spite of regular education, regular awareness, people continue to share their passwords, and unfortunately, in some of the processes, even seniors know that password is getting shared. The impact of it is only realized when something seriously goes wrong. But password sharing cannot be an excuse, whatever be the background. Finally, the fifth incident is an incident where a flood in the city has happened and the business is unable to operate because the entire city is flooded. This is an example of operational risk. This is a small business. It has not got a parallel setup. Many organizations have the business continuity planning in place, and that's why a big organization focus on operating parallelly from multiple locations. But for small organizations, it may not be possible. Now, what is common between all 5 examples? These examples are examples of how an organization faces business risk, how an organization faces operational risk, pardon me. So, operational risk is basically the risk that can be defined as per Basel II guidelines as the risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, people, systems, or from external events. So broadly, the 4 factors that drive operational risk are people, process. Uh, Process basically is internal process, systems and external events. And the definition includes legal risk as per Basel guidelines, but excludes strategic and reputational risk. This definition has been kind of refined with some element of positivity added by the solvency guidelines which are there in European area. So operational risk is the risk of change in the value caused by the fact that the actual losses incurred for inadequate or failed internal processes, people, systems, or from external events differ from expected loss. So basically here there is a comparison between the actual loss and the expected loss, and when they differ, the operational risk has been defined in that context by solvency guidelines. But irrespective of the definition, one thing is for sure, that operational risk is caused by inadequate or failed internal processes, people, systems, or external events. So if you wish to manage operational risk, the focus has to be on these four areas which are very important from the perspective of operational risk management. Let us move ahead and look at some more examples to get more thoughts about operational risk. So if you look at what causes operational risk, or what could be the broadest set of reasons because of which operational risks get created, or in the words of Basel, the event types which can be linked to operational risk. So Basel II guidelines basically describes 7 event types which are listed here in this slide. The examples are internal and external fraud. So internal fraud may be done by an employee, external fraud may be done by third parties with whom you are doing the business. Employment practices and workplace safety, very important. If they are inadequate, operational risk may arise. Clients, products, and business practices are also one of the reasons for a rise of operational risk. And then you have a couple of other contributors like damage to physical assets, which may happen, like damage happening to a server or to a computer. Business disruption and system failures that can also cause operational risk. Business disruption may happen because of multiple reasons. It can also happen, for instance, because of hacking of the systems of an organization, which is an example here. And finally, the last event type is execution, delivery, and process management. This is a very important contributor. If there is an inadequacy here, it may result into operational risk. So having looked at some of the key aspects of operational risk, it is equally important for us to understand what could be the potential impact of operational risk. So the first and the most important impact could be the business loss, because organizations which are weak in terms of operational risk management, doing business and getting clients would be challenging, because there would be an apprehension in the mind of clients about the quality of operational risk control that the business has. So that would cause the business loss. Regulatory penalty may be levied by the regulators. For instance, if an organization is weak in terms of preventing the money laundering, cases of money laundering, there may be a penalty which may be levied on by the regulators, banking regulator here in this particular case. Additionally, there may be a damage to the reputation of a business entity, because obviously a newspaper would cover such incidents of operational risk and talk about how things were not in control within the organization, which caused operational risk. And last but not the least, in today's context, if a business is listed, and even if it is not listed, it may have shareholders value loss, because the market price of the shares may fall, or if a company is not listed, then the potential value of the share may go down if there are huge losses happening because of operational risk, or even small incidents of operational risk, because as mentioned earlier, the trust in in such organizations goes down which have poor control on operational risk. So I have just taken you through some aspects of operational risk in this video. I hope while they are basic, they would have definitely been useful for you. I will request you to contact me at this email ID which is given here, and you can also like my channel if you thought this video was a good one and this has helped you understand the concept of operational risk. If you want to know more about operational risk, and if you want me to prepare more videos on it, please suggest the respective areas of operational risk on which you want to see the video. I will try my best to prepare one and share it on YouTube.